David, first of all, I want to get some reaction from you from last night's Blue Square Premier games. First of all, did you go to one? And second of all, did Oxford do you a favour beating Rushden?
Yes, I did. And Gareth went to the other game, yeah, of course. And the reaction, as from our point of view, is that probably, if you're looking at a numerical result, both games went as well as we would have liked.
So happy with both, and you think that going into this game, because Rushden have obviously lost their unbeaten run last night.
Well, again, I said before, we've got great respect for all the teams that were in action last night. Certainly at the top end, where York and Luton, although it was a stalemate, both approached it in a different type of fashion. But Oxford and Rushden, interestingly, changed slightly their formation. But no, listen, so great respect for Chrissy Wilder and Justin Edinburgh. And although Oxford beat them, I know for a fact that Rushden played well.
Before we come on to Rushden more, let's talk about Mansfield Town. And I want to put a statistic to you, David. In terms of your games this year against sides in the top 8, there's been 21 points on offer. You've picked 4 up. Your thoughts on that, first of all?
Not interested.
In statistics?
Yeah, I am, but I'd rather look at the whole sequence. When you look at Ebbsfleet, if you pick up Ebbsfleet's results against the top teams, it would be different, wouldn't it? So I think there's always scenarios you can read into. Not interested, but they're gone now. They've all gone, and we're looking forward to the remainder. So for me, it's about being positive and about every game that we play.
And it's also about being at home, because at home there is one statistic that you can take comfort in. There's only been 2 defeats this year at home.
In 14 months, there's been 2 defeats in the league. Yeah, absolutely right. So they are stats that we look at the end of the season. To be honest, Dave, where you're looking at them now, I think that you can reflect on them, but they're. If you looked at those games, if you're looking at them from your point of view and you're looking at my point of view, you can read too much into it as a reporter, I think, because really you have to look at the games where we've had people available, suspensions, and all them type of things come into it. So they're stats that go beyond what you're talking about.
Let's come on to the game then in this weekend. In terms of your team, it was a very good performance last week against Tamworth. Tempted to change that side, or is it going to be the same 11, do you think?
Well, I'm not going to reveal my side today, but no, the boys are training hard right this second. There's certainly people that have earned a place, and if I do change it to accommodate the team we're playing against, then I will do so. But I'm certainly not going to reveal my team today.
Injury update, Ollie Hotchkiss, is he coming along this week?
Ollie's turned up today. He's been sick for 3 or 4 days, so obviously we're looking at his this shape, the way he is. So again, his ankle, we'll look at that. So really, he might be about a week away, I'd imagine, from being in the first team start. But we'll see. We might be surprised. He's a young man, and hopefully he's recovered in a good fashion.
Do you think your players will feel they've got a point to prove after the last home game? Because obviously it was disappointing for everyone. So I mean, this is a chance, I guess, to put that right.
Well, I don't think there'll be 7,000 there. And that was a different type of stage, and you have to psychologically have to manage that. But our form at home has been wonderful, and we've got tremendous supporters. And I keep mentioning them people, they've got a part to play. Is that they did last week? They certainly did when we saw how many the players received that welcome when they got out of Tamworth. Tremendous.
Do you think by that then that it was psychologically as much as anything why they didn't perform against Gateshead? Just a different nature.
Look, where 2 things go against us in games at Stevenage and home to Gateshead, where 2 deflected goals. It knocked the stuffing out of us in the first 5 minutes, getting that deflected goal. We saw that last night with Manchester United. It can have a reverse effect. You're talking about a world stage where them players having to deal with that. They could deal with it. They did deal with it, and very admirably in a stadium which was filled up, wasn't it? But our place can be intimidating for the other players, the opposition. We certainly don't want it to be intimidating for our own players. The fans can really make the difference, and I'm sure that the players really are encouraged when they get here the support of our fans. I touched base with an assistant manager at a club recently who witnessed the game against Gateshead, and he said he felt that the fans turned on the players. And I said, but the fans are passionate, and we understand that, and we respect it. They didn't turn on him. They want it as bad as the players, but that can have a desired effect for the opposition. And if we go to opposition, that we feel if their fans might get the ump and have a go at their players if they're not winning after 20 minutes, then it has the desired effect. Teams do that at Mansfield because they know the fans are very passionate, and rightly so. But we have to manage that. The fans, will continue giving our support as long as that effort's there and that commitment's there, and they've stuck by us through that. There's been games where it hasn't gone right, and the consequence of it, of going 3 games without a win, and then coming down to Tamworth and supporting us like they did, was monumental. It showed what they're about, and I'm sure they'll do the same thing come Saturday, come Tuesday, and every game at Field Mill. It's important that we understand that and respect that.
Before we come on to the specifics of the game, they played last night, a defeat to Oxford. Did Oxford do you a favour, do you think, looking at the league table this morning?
I think so. Any teams in or around us, you want them to lose. So whoever they're playing against, we hope that every team will do us a favour. But equally, there's a number of teams who can jump in that playoffs. And we've just got to concentrate on ourselves. And whatever games comes up, then hopefully we'll do our best to get back in there.
Now, a defeat this weekend would be a major hammer blow to your promotion chances. If we look at the league table, it's going to be tight whatever way. But I think the only way you can go into this is a positive result is a must, isn't it? Yeah,
I think coming back off of the Tamworth game, I think we did play well, and I think it's going to come. We just need to get on a run. Obviously, it started Saturday, so hopefully we continue that. But as I said, every game from now on to the end of the season is going to be hard. And we just got to be on top of our game. And when we are, we can beat any team in this league.
Good week training. Obviously, a lot of confidence taken from that game against Tamworth. In particular, with your setup, what do you prefer? Playing in a 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2 formation? Which do you prefer, or doesn't it just matter? Just get me out there and I'll play whatever.
Exactly. I think it is. I've missed a couple of games, and no player wants to do that. And at the moment, I'm happy playing. The thing with me, I can play in numerous positions, and I think the gaffers utilised that. And for whatever formation we'll play, I'm just happy to play. And do what I can for the team. But at the moment, it seems to be going with the 3 in midfield, and that gives us space to play. And we're all who can good on the ball in there. Nixie and Millsy or whoever comes in can do a job. So whatever formation the gaffer chooses to play, we're experienced enough to adapt and to play our best.
In recent weeks, you've been influential in terms of getting the ball into the box, not by your feet, but by throw-ins.
Yeah.
The Challinor throw-in, it's becoming quite a minor celebrity around here, isn't it?
Well, to be honest, I've had that through my career, but as I said, it's a different aspect to our play. You got the corners, you got the open play. If someone can launch it in with a throw-in, that's added extra. So the good thing for myself is we've got goals from it. And why change it? If it's working, keep putting it in there, and then you've got the players to get on the end of it.
There's a throw-in anywhere near the 18-yard box for Mansfield now. No one seems to walk over to take it. It's just this just acceptance that you're going to go over and launch it in. Is it something that you train with? And obviously, I bet there's a few people in that changing room who want to take you on maybe on the practice ground and see if they can beat you.
Well, to be honest, all the long throw people are coming out of the woodwork, and it's evident in even as I said from the top league, Stoke. Rory Delap, if it's good enough for the top league, why not for teams in our league? But as you said, the worst thing is when it's over one side and it goes out the other. I've got to run the whole of the length of the pitch, and it's But as I said, it's good to be out there and playing. And as I said, if the throw helps, then it's all good.
Now, returning back to the game this weekend, we've been talking on the sports desk about how defining this game could be. A win sees Mansfield stay in that promotion chase. A defeat, it's a major setback to say the least. It's a big game. Are you a big game player, do you think?
I think you just got to prepare right as a player. You never know what's going to happen on match day, but if you prepare properly, and give you the best chance of doing well. But as I said, every player loves to play in the big games. And you do raise your game knowing that there's a massive stake, on the result. And as I said, the gaffer will get us all prepared right, and ultimately it's down to the players when they cross the white line to do the job.
It's amazing run of games. You've got 5 out of the next 6 at home, including 3 cup finals, really.
Yeah, I think regardless who we play, as I said, every game is going to be tough. And just so happens that majority of them are in and around us. You know, if we beat them teams, then we'll cement our place in the playoffs, which we're looking to do. And obviously it starts Saturday with Rushden, who are on a good run, and it's up to us to end that. But equally, we're starting to pick up. And we had a bit of a lull a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, but now we're picking up again, and we believe that we can push on.